rescued in the next days. People are still startled somewhere. Because of the loud explosions, it exploded again. But the probability of total metabolism is good this time, increased to 5% because of the elemental cannons and the elemental battleships. People after so many times. They are also used to this kind of life. No longer startled. Get out of the port city now. The customs chief is still listening closely to the situation. He's worried. It's my wrong feeling. Why does the iceberg outside seem more and more? Your Majesty's judgment is correct. The leader looked for a moment and then asked his subordinates, have all the people in town left? He replied that he had just finished. The last man's retreat was complete. The town is no longer a shadow. Don't worry, he can give the order now. On your Majesty's orders. The entire fleet retreated 5 miles into the river. The customs chief appointed the day of the return. Leaving home is only temporary. We'll be back sooner or later. In the extreme cold in the distance right now, the thin bird quietly soared in the sky, in front of the magician under Rich. He's been here listening for signs for a long time. Android recognizes. Defense magic is about to get out of hand. Just like this, it's too big. Not a good way. The concentration of elements near the element is very high, but it's chaotic and violent. To a magician like me, they can't stay long either. There's more and more ice. Maybe the whole sea is frozen. Then the Kai label element will appear. It almost takes a while. But I didn't expect to see it with my own eyes. The magician stood before this bizarre changing scene. It's such an honor. It's a treasure trove. Ender Zikwag eye view. But of course, such a majestic sight. They are not enjoyed alone. It's not just the truth of hatred. There's a lot of strange gas. Looking up at the sky, under Zik wish. Your Majesty, I hope you are ready. At the same time at the border of the Nail now. A nomad who's encamped, overnight in the cold forest. He's warming up and thinking. Your Majesty has been strict lately. It's such a cold day and we're still patrolling the border. The dog ate the stone. In extreme weather like this, to sneak in. The young man sighed for an hour. There was a sound of feet from behind. He yelled back, AI. But the Ferdinand doesn't give his prey a chance. Time to say the last word. He brandished his sharp knife. Cold Ferdinand swinging a dead line. Cut the prey's neck. The young man died at his hands. Ferdinand said yes. Not being able to withstand a news attack is not wrong. In the land of silence, of course, there's a growing civilization. He scorned judgment. It's just a shame that that's the only way to stop. Holding a sharp knife stained with the blood of many. Ferdinand excited. Because we're here to end them. What will happen to the village and the village? When this cold-blooded monster shows up here. After walking around the border the snail. Ferdinand review. Look at the number of people living in the area. More than we can imagine. The servant replied. But they couldn't take such a blow. Finan let signal. Keep going, Anat asked His Majesty. Do the bodies of the soldiers need to be buried? I'm worried about this wishful thinking. He said he's hiding our movements. Ferdinand replied arrogantly, haha. Not necessary. Within half a month. We need to take over the whole family. Do you need to prepare for the dead or not? He said he screamed. 2 of them start, and they fade behind the tree. Leaving the body in the jungle. For the wolves. In His Majesty's office right now. I didn't even report the story. Your Majesty is angry. What did our troops encounter? Not except the nod. That's right. This morning, It's time to replace the patrol. Patrol soldiers have their throats cut. He said someone was sneaking in. Maybe it's Timothy. To arbitrarily destroy the armistice. I can't believe they would betray us. Summon the army. Everyone to the border ready to fight. Not accept the answer. At first, because there was a power that didn't know how to penetrate. The two sides agreed to stop the war. It was his subordinates who personally went to Din. Proceed with persuasion. Queen Timothy's attitude at the time was not the same as pretending. That's right. According to the situation, the enemy prevails before the underground is solved. They didn't have to risk breaking the agreement first. Listen to Red Deacon say that. Your Majesty is silent for a moment. Pink continues to speak. Your Majesty's natural provocation is too predictable. If there's a small person in the middle of the provocation, maybe it just fell into their minds. The secret to asking. So you tell me what we should do. You can't just be patient. Not accept the determination. The subordinates agreed to go to Timothy's barracks. Find out the situation. It makes sense to order it. But don't let your guard down. Let the army continue to prepare for battle. Once we find out that Timothy betrayed us, immediately start attacking. There was a solution. Pink accepted the order without delay. Turn to Timothy territory. At this moment, Your Majesty, the frontier city is suddenly 7 incompetent subordinates, temporarily unable to capture the identity of the smuggler. I can't even investigate Ra. Your Majesty's and Timothy courtiers were less angry. Maybe it's a guest speaker. Adventurers do not lie. Someone with an unknown identity came in. Lead to sing Timothy wonder. It can't be because they're acting SAO themselves. He replied that he did not have this power. Because the military presented, Your Majesty, the enemy is advancing aggressively, afraid that it will consume our fighting strength. We always need to be ready, in a position to destroy the treaty. We can't send troops to the front line. The subordinates feel he could get information to the Han dynasty. His Majesty Liu Feng's request for help. Timothy is not feeling well. She said it was best to solve the problem herself. Don't ask others for help all the time. In your heart, you think, but if you send him in person, it doesn't seem impossible. The generals advised His Majesty. The staff also saw the rescue plan should also be postponed. We must investigate the situation first. Then it was decided, Your Majesty. The subordinates agreed to investigate. Timothy nodded. Before that spirit, we need the most complete intelligence. The general replied that he would complete it. Don't worry, Your Majesty. Back to a place at the border. At the patrol's barracks. Tae-Jin Sen is careful to investigate. I didn't expect to find the enemy so quickly. I looked inside. The man with the same name, Ferdinand, was surprised. Who is next to the fire? He has a strange face, but he is the leader. Investigate a little more. Then you can go back to your destiny. It's from behind Tizen Seneral. A blow that I no longer know heaven and earth. Tae-Jin passed out. Tied up in the tent, they slapped you in the face. Sleeping is comfortable. Wake up, Cho Tae-Jin, seen speaking up. The last of you is AI. And it got a question I should have asked you. Said he whipped an ROI guy on Tae-Jin scene. In a painful way. Who do you work for? Who comes here to do what? Tae-Jin is seen in pain. And it angrily grabbed my stick hair. Threatened me to advise you to speak up soon. They can die quickly. Ferdinand came in from the outside. Treat our guests. How to lose money. To enter the land of silence, we need a guide. Smart people will make the right choices. Right, my friend? West Jin Sen tried to open his eyes and ask them. You're the last AI at SAO to show up here. Ferdinand looked at him coldly and asked him back. Why did he drop his arm to the sword resting on Tae Jinsen's pole? This is just a warning. Let Tae Jinsen know about their benefits. Your sword broke in too horribly. Tarin Sen stand Tim. When I first saw the scene. Ferdinand then spoke up. I am the heir of the Bombay family, the later leader of the colony, the master of St. Kwang Ti. Ferdinand thesis you. At this time, I realized that St. Kwang Ti had become a monk. Why did he say more? The people of the land. I haven't seen the power of the elements. Then, you have absolutely no power to resist. It is again a gift from God. We rely on willpower to destroy iron and steel. Do you really want to be our enemy? West Jin has seen this scene many times. Your tongue is hard as a rock. I don't know anything. Don't say anything. The name man sounds like it can't hold the big anger. Your Majesty, this man is not expected to remain so stiff. Fear of being beaten is not lost. Let the subordinates speak. He performed a torture on Tae Jinsen. The night falls. He was so heavy-handed that he had to go. With your Highness Ferdinand, he's passed out. Ferdinand asked if he said anything. And no. He barely cracked his teeth. Ferdinand is a bit of an admirer. I can't believe that there are also heroes in the land. In the face of absolute power, remain steadfast, loyal, and unyielding. He was ordered to lock him up. Onos was surprised by the owner's decision. Not out of question. Name Fudina 5 explain. I want this brave man to see for himself. We lead the Flying Bomb family to conquer the land of destruction. Defense line of the border, Ron-Nim, slowly destroyed by the army of flying bombs. They were chasing and killing the patrol. Kill and move forward. Kill a good sword. Order your army to kill the wrong one. More than missed. The swords came. Stabbed the soldiers in the back. Make them hurt. Farina took this opportunity. He intended to use a fatal blow. Quickly draw the sword. A scratching sound into space. Go straight to the last two soldiers. Ferdinand killed them without hesitation. His killer instincts. Now it's become something that doesn't require conditioning. Two soldiers fell down in a pool of blood. Why can you be so strong? Fadila spit answer. They don't know how to use the elements. Go to another world and find out. Your Majesty has finished cleaning up. Ferdinand still has a look that can't stand a blow. In Jordan, of course, a person who knows how to fight is not. His soldiers salute His Majesty. Annette excitedly said, waiting for the turtle to snatch. Simon was outside. You've leveled the whole family. Ferdinand is laughing arrogantly, haha. Really want to see the depressed face of the weak C.A. Kier. Timothy was watching them from a distance. SAO can be the avant-garde army of adventure. It's been completely destroyed, but with the landscape completely tilted to one side. Take a close look. Tim Modi clearly remembers the form of the leader of the Kier Ferdinand. By news asserts propaganda about. It's not wrong. The winners don't know who. He asked His Majesty how we should do it. Timothy, give orders now. Give orders to all troops on the ground. Defensive layout. He quickly transmitted the message to Your Majesty. The power of the enemy to you. The family needs urgent help. Soon, the telegram came back to the exile. I was surprised. An army of adventurers was destroyed. Of course, something happened. Ellie and Mina couldn't help but be stunned. What 5 people destroy an army, Phil? It's impossible. Liu Feng said, but that's what intelligence is. Do you know these people you know? He pointed to the picture of Ferdinand and asked. He looked up for a moment and was amazed. It's a strange face, but based on the way they're dressed and the Wee family on them. Maybe someone from the Bombay Ellie family was wondering. What is the Bombay family? Tozensi explained. It's one of the 5 great families of the Magnid Empire. The Bombay family is very violent. The fighting strength of the whole family was very fierce. The enemy is always cruel. I can't believe it. The first enemies we face are them. Mina thought deeply and asked, if it's 5 families, there are only people like that. Ellie also proved difficult to understand. Or the army that goes to survey the company is stationed far away. Save that time for comments. I'm not sure only these people are right. According to the logic of the truth of hatred, determination is still in the deep elemental phase. Race outside, it is still difficult to adapt to the situation. It's such a low concentration of elements. This is a 5-man vanguard. It has elemental power. There was a strong argument. I feel the seriousness of the situation. This time he stood up and ordered the cavalry to be mobilized. I need to kill this vanguard myself. That's all it sounds like, Mina. Ellie, she whispered, Your Highness. This is too dangerous. Be careful to explain. If you let them stay in silence, the land will stand. There will be a constant flow of power. We have to pull the snail. Back to the outer space of the Han dynasty. The ship carrying the wind and the courtiers have departed. Below is the special army of the Han dynasty, accompanying Theo. In the spacecraft at this time, the subordinates came forward to announce. Your Majesty's report on the front lines transmitted a new report. It's pretty quick to say it. The army is almost broken. Gradually retreated inland. Timudi deployed multiple lines of defense. It is also slowly being destroyed. Adventure and Timudi can't stand it. Sao Mina horror. The flying bomb family's fighting power is too strong. This is the power of the Sao element. Between that time, out the window called the young master. It was quite fun. String foam, she came and ran to embrace the wind. I heard that master is also nearby. Is to lead the bird warriors. Special protection for people. Thanks for asking. PJ, we all miss you so much. Are you okay? PJ responded very well to me. Master Sao came here in person. The front lines are dangerous. Save Feng replied, You're all in a very dangerous situation. I can safely sit in the back. The enemy this time. It's not someone you can deal with. PJ also agrees. Now the situation has become extremely bad. When I first left, the defense line of the last camp, it's almost been destroyed. I'm amazed I can't believe my hands so fast. Sao Mina also thought it was not true. You are very worried about where to buy it. Is she okay? I don't know the specific situation. We need to get back quickly. Let's go back and give orders quickly. Use all the forward speed. We must save the Timothy people. On the battlefield, the last defensive barracks. At that time, the smoke of fire filled the sky. Your Majesty, please leave, and we will help you wrap your back. The courtiers dragged Timothy quickly away. Your Majesty, you can no longer hesitate. The Frog and Duke Uller led the soldiers away. Prolonged time on the front lines. But he couldn't last long. When the enemy comes to attack here, it will be too late to leave. Timothy couldn't believe his eyes. I'm not going. The soldiers are dead. Our soldiers. They've all been killed by those bastards. Robin knows your Majesty is no longer awake. Speak out loud. Your Majesty, now is not the time to say these words. Our forces are too far apart. There is only the way to die. Timothy jerked out his hand. You let go. Even if it is death. We need to die with the soldiers. Robin hugged Timothy. Scream out loud to let her wake up. We need someone alive. The family has hope. You can't die here. The team was silent and said no. We can't die. The soldiers won't die. After a moment of deliberation, Timothy command down. Intelligence has been transmitted. Your Majesty will come to save us. I believe him. At the same time, Timothy was determined. The flying bomb army fired a ferocious blow. Good luck to Timothy. Robin was in time to rescue her. The two of them never saw it. A devastating military weapon. It's so horrible. Master Timothy teaches Robin the Big Seven. The enemy's here already, Timothy panting with fatigue. You are no longer awake. Give orders to the last ducal. Now in the distance. Ducal is lying in the snow covered in blood. It made the two of them quiet. Ferdinand with his army pulled to their position. Ferdinand was lying there saying, no, it is a bit too much. Too strong, you run. Robin next to Timothy trembled helplessly. Ducola. It's like anger, no longer knows what fear is. Reach for the sword. He's buzzing. Risk death with the fucking invaders. Tell you to Timothy, you guys go ahead. I stop them. The bull jumps straight in front of the Ferdinand and slashes. But he's easily stopped. The elemental power on him countered. He slashed on the Taurus. Ox can't react at all. I know he's too fast. Ferdinand spoke up. No matter how many times. It doesn't work either. He cut one very hard. It's kind of like taking it slow. The blow that knocked you away. It is clear that you are not his opponent. I can't think of any other solution in my heart. He's too strong. I'm not a competitor at all. Like a loud shout for to Timothy. You guys go quickly. I'm not going to be able to resist. Your Majesty, hurry up. Timothy couldn't bear to look at the people with him. I have to sacrifice. You said no, we're not going anywhere. Ferdinand focused his elemental power on the sword. A few days into this reading, I'm slowly changing my look. You are very weak and very strong, is a warrior. You are so brave that you deserve respect. Only pity, you can't manipulate the element. Not enough power is finally crushed by us. He said he hacked to a warning blast. Say it again this time. You can see the power gap between us. Parting the Shi-Jin, my door friend Ferdinand arrogantly asked. How cool is this war? My invitation is still in effect. We need a guide. You must be honored to see them. Then they dragged Tijensi and tied his hands. Ferdinand's sweet honey words. Now submit to me. Tank a loyalty to the land of Timothy. I've never been afraid before. He shouted back, shut up. You dream. Your Highness did not run away. Nor surrender. I will not betray my country. Absolutely not. Ferdinand heard that and replied with pity. Then there's no other way. He put on a sinister smile and said, let me send you on your way, brothers. Then he swung the knife. Dedicated his murder to Timothy's fear. Look at that scene. Suddenly, in the middle of 1,000 pounds hanging hair, a voice came to a stop. The flying bomb soldiers were messed up. This is something special. Of Jordan Sao Terran Sen surprised he spoke up. Is not that Tim Moti in the heart of Nin impossible? There's no doubt about it. Tim Moti is finally here. Your eyes are filled with hope. In the sky, Liu Feng's spaceship appeared. Loud shout of the army into Chang'an. Send your majesty too. Tung's entourage marched in armored vehicles and artillery. He realized that he immediately asked, "We arrived in time, right? Where did you buy it?" Take a look below. I saw Tim Moti waving his hand. I saw it and still alive. With a sigh of relief, he stood up and announced, "Very good. Next, look at us." Sei Feng boldly declared, "Uproot this sneak nail-ra. Let peace return to the family." The army with its cannons came. In front of the bombs, they are somewhat cautious. Many children. It was the first time I had seen such weapons. Curious to ask your majesty. This is something I've never seen before. Speak up, your majesty, no matter what. No one here can use the element. We can all kill them. Ferdinand thought differently. He said, "Don't despise the enemy." He seriously ordered the formation. The enemy may not be easy to deal with. Before the probe is actually broken, between the zombie clear defense formation. I looked at the soldiers of the army and was amazed. It's amazing. Tim Mo stepped in front of Liu Feng's spaceship. Admire a time without seeing. You've grown to this level. Liu Feng's slogan. The Han Dynasty excommunicated His Majesty. Save the wind after the troops finished shouting. State-of-the-art special cannons fired. Heavy armor defense troops go ahead. Build a strong defense line. The bomb's troops were shot and exploded. All Anos jerked up. What is that explosive? It's not that they don't know how to use elements or SAO. Finan zealously urged his troops to advance. It doesn't matter what it is. Fighters of the flying bomb family have nothing to fear. And so the bombs flew. The horses rushed straight towards Liu Feng's army. The enemy knows that there is no way out. You stand tall and give orders to our troops. Destroy the enemy. To take the victory. The elemental power of Ferdinand's army is not the same. They make the army struggle. The attack is too strong. Shoot, don't stop. Guns fired, cannons fired. Bombers flying with too weak a defense die like crows. Fadanangali is not a name. Is the general of the flying bomb. He alone stormed the field of exile. Slash, flush. The war is raging, and neither side will yield. The smoke of fire rumbled and dust filled the sky. The army also suffered countless casualties. The blood is red on the snow hill. It's hard. Ferdinand just got close to exile. He lifted his neck and said, "Finally comes a strong opponent." He shouted in front of the barn. "Announce your title." From the moment you step into the nail, the wind was the first. They killed Ferdinand's army. Not only that, I don't know if I saved my life this time. He just came screaming, "I need to remember you." Ferdinand waited without seeing the reply. He laughed, but give orders to the army. We will fight again next time. He told the horse to come back. And end with a thunderous legion following. The owner doesn't seem to want to fight anymore. Command your enemy to retreat and stop shooting. I was a little surprised to ask the master. We don't overcharge or SAO. Sei Feng explained, our soldiers also suffered casualties. The enemy's power is much stronger than ours. Soldiers need to rest. There's also Timothy. The bell rings. It's called the Tuzensi element. Tuzensi happily said hello, received it. Liu Feng replied with a smile. Effective Tuzency, using call element. Not bad. Tu Jink laugh, haha. And of course, bring the element into the telegraph. Forming a prime call. It's a wonderful work of mine and of Tilapia. Save the wind. Our side has just finished fighting. What do you have to do? Tozensi say right away. I almost forgot the main thing. We investigated a little bit. Intelligence on the flying bomb family. What intelligence do you ask? Tozensi presentation. An elite warrior division of the flying bomb family has been through the baptism of elemental power. So power is superior to the power of humanity. In the Kai land sediment, Liu Feng Tong, the baptism of elemental power. It's a special way to click potential activities of humanity beyond the SAO. Tezensi nods. Now the elemental power in the Kai deposit is still in a state of oppression. Fake powers can enter here not much. I just want to remind everyone. Here's elite power precautions. They're scary. Mina and the Emperor are astonished to stir up fake power. Maybe the last one was. Say Feng lower suspicious voice. Say not. We've already met. Taizen, listen to something. What's going on? The wind starts to remember the memories. That person, he's clearly the leader of the commandos. Maybe an enemy 10. They can even use normal weapons. Cut off the tank's shells. I remember a time with Ferdinand. Conclude he is strong. Tozensi nods like wood, is not strong SAO. At the beginning of the war, we encountered such an enemy. We are so unlucky. I think it's entirely by luck that I can beat him. Ellie gave him a blow. What is luck? This is called real power. You can doubt the young master. Ellie hurriedly encouraged exile. Tuzen City's words are not easy to hear. But the content is not wrong. Not on our side.